So why have the Vikings been so quiet in free agency? The quick answer is that they don't have the cap space, but it's actually a little more complicated than that, which I'll explain here in a second. But first, their most important move so far was obviously signing Kyler Murray, but when it comes to spending, their most expensive move was re-signing Eric Wilson to a 3-year, $22.5 million deal. The only external free agents they've signed are Kyler Murray, cornerback James Pierre, and punter Johnny Hekker. They've made a lot of moves around the edges, contract restructures, revised contracts, then straight up releasing expensive vets like Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, but Minnesota has actually spent the third fewest of any team in free agency so far, after they spent the second most last offseason. Well, 2025 was a borderline train wreck for a multitude of reasons, and the Vikings entered this offseason $43 million over the cap. As of today, they're sitting around $9.4 million under the cap, but they need to get to $17-ish million in order to sign their draft picks as well as fill up the practice squad. So the short answer to why they've been so quiet is they simply don't have the cap space, but they're also viewing this offseason as, quote, an aggressive right-sizing of their roster finances. That's what Kevin Seifert claimed his sources both in and outside the building have categorized this offseason as. He said the Vikings decided that 2026 was the time to eat their vegetables, not making any drastic moves that could jeopardize their future financial situation. Sounds like this was a decision made by both Rob Brzezinski and Kevin O'Connell collectively because reportedly the Wilfs have kind of stayed out of it. They've not given any orders to limit the spending this year. And Rob Brzezinski said it himself recently. I feel like we've navigated responsibly the future versus being competitive this year. I feel like we're in a really good spot, but there's a long way to go. They're going to try to put out the most competitive team they possibly can without overspending like they've done in recent years, and just hope they hit on multiple guys in the draft. 2027 should be interesting because they're projected to have around $67 million in cap space, but they need to re-sign guys like Jordan Addison and Brian O'Neill. Plus, if they plan on bringing Kyler Murray back, that's not going to be cheap either. It's pretty complicated, but unfortunately, the Vikings have put themselves in this position by failing to draft and develop well, which has caused them to overspend in free agency, and now it's finally caught up to them.